My name's Dr. Joanna Rose. I was conceived from anonymous sperm donation in Harley Street in the early 1970s. I first became more active on this issue from a string of events. First was that I met somebody on a bus who worked in reproductive technology, and I was invited to go along to a conference and speak, almost as a bit of a novelty factor, about being conceived from reproductive technology. And when I was there, really, that was the first time I was enabled to actually think beyond the boundaries that have been placed in my head about who my genetic father might be. And I was placed sitting next to a guy who was a donor, and I think the fact that I was next to a human being, rather than a pot of medicine, just helped me realise, actually, what's this word donor? It's actually my genetic father we're talking about here, and that was a big event for me. And then it was in Australia, and then I saw a debate between an adoptee and a doctor, and I hated her passionately, because she was basically arguing against, the adoptee was saying, these people are going to want to know something about who they are and where they come from, and you haven't learnt the lessons from adoption. And she was saying, no, not at all. She had pearly earrings on and hair up in a bun, and she had a PhD, and she was arguing that we didn't need any knowledge about anything in terms of who we're related to and where we came from, and I felt really angry. So that kind of enlivened me, and I phoned up the producer, and they ended up whizzing round and doing an interview that day. And that was really the beginning of me getting more publicly and politically active. There were a few reasons why I ended up getting a PhD on this myself. But one was that I felt that I was being pitted against people, and my voice was being placed as a kind of, oh, well, you're one of the whingy ones. And there's no substance to what you have to say, because here we've got somebody who's academic and very professional, who has a lot more clout. And I knew that that wasn't right, but it was a power imbalance. And I wanted to address that. And I think it does make a difference to have a PhD, and obviously you've been given time to research and write, and that's helpful too. The practical effect that this court case had was that it then led to changes in the law, and in some ways, superficially, anonymous donation has been banned. There are ways around it. And also there's been a voluntary retrospective register set up for people conceived previously. So donors and siblings and donor offspring can try and access each other. But really what should happen at some stage is a second court case to establish that our human rights are not only engaged, but they've been intentionally violated by providing this as a service, an anonymous service, and that there's a duty on the state to rectify that. And therefore, it's not just a question of a voluntary, badly funded retrospective register, it's actually something a bit more helpful can be put in place.